Welcome back to the Stoic Golden Tribe, the place where men come to sharpen their minds, build their souls, and learn the timeless lessons of life, love, and discipline. Here, we don't chase easy answers. We uncover truths that shape stronger men and wiser leaders. Today, we step into a question that is shaking the very foundation of modern relationships. Why are women starting to act differently when men no longer make the first move? For centuries, men were expected to take initiative, to walk across the room, to face rejection with courage, and to claim their path boldly. Yet today, many men hesitate. Fear of being misunderstood, fear of rejection, fear of judgment has created a silence, and in that silence, women are changing their behavior. Some are adapting, some are frustrated, others are sending signals that many men fail to see. This video is not just about women, it is about you as a man. It is about understanding what happens when you give up the responsibility of courage, and more importantly, it is about reclaiming that courage, not just to approach women, but to approach life itself. Stay with me until the end, because what you will learn here may change how you see women, how you see yourself, and how you see the path forward as a man. And before we begin, remember, if this message speaks to you, if you value wisdom, growth, and strength, make sure to like this video, share it with a brother who needs it, subscribe to the Stoic Golden Tribe, and leave a comment below with your thoughts. Your voice adds power to this community. Now let us begin. Chapter 1. The Silence of Men. In every age of history, men were called to act. The ancient Spartans taught their sons that hesitation was more dangerous than defeat. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself that life is short and delay is the thief of time. And yet today, many men have fallen into silence. Why? Some men say the rules have changed, that approaching a woman in public risks misunderstanding, embarrassment, or even public shaming. Others are paralyzed by the fear of rejection, a wound to the fragile ego. And still others, drowned in distraction, have forgotten what it means to walk with courage. But here is the truth: the world does not wait for hesitant men. When you hold back, when you choose comfort over courage, the world adapts without you. Women adapt without you. They notice the silence, they feel the absence of boldness, and in that void they begin to change their behavior. Some women grow louder in their signals, dressing, posting, or speaking in ways to draw attention, hoping men will respond. Others grow colder, deciding to take the lead themselves, while silently losing respect for the men who will not act. And many feel a quiet frustration, wondering, where have the men gone? The tragedy is not just that women change, the tragedy is that men shrink. A generation of men convince themselves that safety is found in silence. But in truth, silence is surrender. To approach a woman is not just about romance, it is a training ground for life. Each time you face the possibility of rejection, you forge resilience. Each time you choose action over hesitation, you strengthen your will. And each time you walk forward, even trembling, you remind yourself that you are alive, not a ghost hiding in the background of your own existence. So when men no longer approach, it is not just dating that suffers. Confidence withers, leadership declines, the masculine spirit grows weaker, and women, sensing this, respond in ways that ripple through society. Brothers of the Stoic Golden Tribe, remember this: when you stop moving forward, life itself moves on without you. Drop a comment below. T. Why do you think so many men hesitate to make the first move today? Chapter 2. When women adapt to silence. In nature, silence is never empty. When one creature refuses to act, another fills the void. The forest does not stay quiet, it shifts, it adapts. And so it is with human relationships. When men no longer approach, women begin to adapt. Some of these adaptations are subtle, others are drastic, but all carry a message for the men who are watching closely. First, let us speak of the louder signals. Many women, feeling unseen and unapproached, grow more deliberate in the way they present themselves. You see it in fashion, in makeup, in the rise of carefully curated social media lives. She is not merely sharing She is signaling. She is saying without words, "Notice me. Step forward. Be the man bold enough to meet me here." But often, men scroll past, liking a photo instead of living a moment. They confuse digital gestures for real courage, and the silence deepens. Others take a different path. They decide to make the first move themselves. This may look progressive on the surface, women asking men out, women breaking tradition. Yet beneath this boldness, many confess to feeling a quiet loss of respect. For when she has to step into the man's role, a part of her wonders, will he ever step into his own strength? Or will I always have to lead? What begins as confidence can turn into disappointment when the man never rises to claim his ground. Then there is the most dangerous adaptation: withdrawal. Some women grow colder, tired of waiting for men to act. They invest in careers, distractions, or communities where men are no longer required. They tell themselves they do not need men. And while independence is a strength, this particular withdrawal is often rooted in hurt. The quiet sorrow of being overlooked, of feeling invisible in a world where men have stopped looking. Here lies the hidden truth. These changes are not only about women, they are a mirror held up to men. Every adaptation of women reveals something about the state of masculinity. Their louder signals reflect men's growing silence. Their bold approaches reflect men's shrinking initiative. Their withdrawal reflects men's absence of presence. History has shown us this before. In times of war, when men marched away, women stepped into roles they had never held before. Factories, farms, even the battlefield saw their presence. They adapted because survival demanded it. Today we face not a war of nations, but a war within the hearts of men. A war against fear, against self-doubt, against the erosion of courage. And just as before, women are adapting to fill the gap. But here is the lesson, brothers. Adaptation is not the same as fulfillment. A woman may adjust her behavior to the silence of men, but deep within she still longs for strength. She still desires the presence of a man who knows who he is, who carries himself with purpose, who is not afraid to move forward. When that presence is missing, she adapts, but she is not at peace. So ask yourself, when you see women acting louder, bolder, or colder, is it truly what they wanted? Or is it the reflection of men refusing to stand tall? A woman's adaptation is not her victory, it is a sign of your absence. And that is why this conversation matters. It is not about blaming women for what they do, but about recognizing how far men have stepped back. And it is a call to return, to reclaim the courage of initiation, to make the first move not only in love, but in life itself. Brothers of the Stoic Golden Tribe, if women are adapting to our silence, then the question we must ask is, what will you do with your silence? Continue to hide within it, or break it with action? Drop a comment below. Do you believe women truly want to take the lead, or are they adapting because men refuse to step forward? Chapter 3. The hidden cost of hesitation. Every choice a man makes carries a price. To act costs something: courage, effort, the risk of rejection. But to refuse to act also carries a price. And often the cost of hesitation is far greater than the cost of failure. When a man avoids making the first move, he tells himself he is protecting his dignity. He says, "If I do nothing, I cannot be rejected." But this is self-deception. For in saving himself from one wound, he invites 1,000 others. The first cost is the erosion of confidence. Confidence is not built in silence, it is forged in action. Like a muscle, it grows only when tested, only when stretched beyond its comfort. Every time a man refuses to step forward, his confidence shrinks. Slowly, he becomes a shadow of himself. A man who walks through life unseen, unheard, untested. The second cost is lost opportunity. Every woman you never spoke to is not just a missed conversation. It is a missed story, a missed lesson, perhaps even a missed love. Life's most powerful connections are born from simple acts of courage. History remembers Alexander the Great for conquering nations, but even he began with one step onto the battlefield. Likewise, every great love, every powerful bond begins with a single step, a word spoken, a move made. Refuse that step, and you refuse the possibility of greatness. The third cost is respect, both from others and from yourself. Men may think silence keeps them safe, but in truth it steals their honor. A man who will not risk rejection cannot be trusted to risk much else. Women sense this. Other men sense this. And worst of all, you sense it. Deep down, you know when you have chosen fear over courage, and every time you do, a small piece of self-respect is lost. The fourth cost is the weakening of the masculine spirit. Throughout history, men have been called to be initiators, in battle, in leadership, in vision. To shrink back from that role is to surrender a part of your essence. Stoic philosophy teaches us that a man must live according to nature, and part of a man's nature is to move forward, to carry responsibility, to lead with courage. When you deny that, you live against your very design. And here is the final and most tragic cost: a life unlived. Imagine yourself at the end of your days looking back. You will not remember the times you were rejected. Those wounds heal. But you will remember the times you stayed silent, the chances you never took, the faces you never approached. Regret is the heaviest weight a man can carry, and it is born not of failure, but of never trying. Brothers, hesitation may feel harmless in the moment, but over time it corrodes everything: your confidence, your opportunities, your respect, your spirit, and your future. So let me ask you, what is the cost you are willing to pay for silence? Because whether you act or not, you will pay. The difference is that courage demands payment once, while hesitation demands payment for life. The Stoics remind us it is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it. Do not waste yours in hesitation. Drop a comment below. What do you think is the greatest cost men pay when they avoid making the first move? Chapter 4. Reclaiming the courage to lead. We have spoken of silence. We have spoken of women adapting. We have spoken of the heavy cost men pay when they hesitate. But knowledge without action is useless. Now we must speak of the path forward, the way a man reclaims his courage and learns to lead again. First, understand this truth. Courage is not the absence of fear, but the mastery of it. Every great man in history felt fear. The warrior on the battlefield, the explorer sailing into unknown seas, the leader standing before a crowd, all trembled within. But they moved forward anyway. That is courage. And you too must learn to move, not when you feel ready, but when you feel called. So how does a man rebuild his courage to make the first move, with women and in life? The first step is discipline in small acts of boldness. Courage is not built overnight. It begins in daily practice. Speak to strangers. Shake hands firmly. Hold eye contact. Smile at someone you do not know. These small sparks of courage light the fire of greater boldness. Approach does not begin in the club or on the street. It begins in the quiet choices of everyday life. The second step is reframing rejection. Too many men see rejection as proof of weakness. In truth, rejection is the training ground of strength. Each no you face is not a wound, but a scar that hardens you, that makes you stronger, that proves you dared. The Stoics taught us to embrace hardship, for it shapes us into who we must become. Remember this: the man who has been rejected 100 times will always be stronger than the man who has never dared once. The third step is living with purpose beyond approval. A man who seeks only validation will always hesitate. But a man who knows his mission, his values, his goals, his vision, will act because his actions flow from who he is, not from what others think of him. When you approach a woman, do not come as a beggar seeking acceptance. Come as a man who already has purpose, offering her the chance to share in it. Purpose transforms fear into confidence. The fourth step is choosing action over imagination. Too many men are trapped in their minds, running endless scenarios of what if? What if she rejects me? What if I embarrass myself? What if others laugh? Brothers, imagination is a thief. It convinces you of failure before life has even spoken. The cure is simple. Act before your fear grows. Say the first word. Take the first step. Most battles are won not because the soldier was stronger, but because he struck first. Finally, the fifth step is making courage a lifestyle, not an event. Do not wait for the perfect moment. There is no perfect moment. Life rewards those who act in imperfect moments with imperfect courage. Every time you step forward, even trembling, you train yourself to live as a man should live, boldly, with presence, with honor. Brothers of the Stoic Golden Tribe, hear this. Women do not need men who are flawless. They need men who are fearless enough to try. Society does not need men who hide. It needs men who lead. Your family, your future, your own soul. They are all waiting for you to move first. Do not let fear steal your future. Reclaim your courage. Make the first move. Lead not only in love, but in every corner of your life. Drop a comment below. What step will you take today to break hesitation and step forward with courage? Brothers of the Stoic Golden Tribe, we have walked together on this journey. We began with silence, the silence of men who no longer step forward. We saw how women adapt, how society shifts, and how hesitation costs us more than we ever imagine. And we ended with a path, a way forward, a call to courage. But now, it comes down to you. You see, history will not remember the man who stayed quiet. It will not honor the man who waited for the perfect moment. It will not celebrate the man who buried his potential under fear. History remembers those who dared, those who stepped forward, those who faced rejection, failure, and even mockery, but still chose to act. The truth is, hesitation kills more dreams than failure ever will. Failure at least teaches. Failure at least builds. Failure at least proves you tried. But hesitation? Hesitation robs you silently. It takes your chance, your moment, your courage, and leaves you with nothing but regret. And regret, my brothers, is a prison that only the courageous can escape. Think of your life right now. How many opportunities have you missed because you stayed silent? How many times did you see her look your way, but you told yourself, not today? How many dreams have you delayed, waiting for courage to magically arrive? And how many nights have you gone to bed with the heavy weight of knowing you could have acted, but didn't? That is the cost of hesitation, and that cost is far greater than rejection. But here is the good news. You do not have to remain that man. At any moment you can decide, enough. Enough waiting, enough silence, enough hesitation. Today you rise. Today you reclaim what fear has stolen. Today you choose to live as the man you were created to be. And understand this, women do not need perfection from men. They do not need flawless words or a guaranteed outcome. What they long for is courage, for leadership, for presence, for a man who dares to step forward even when his voice shakes. That is what earns respect. That is what inspires loyalty. That is what ignites attraction. But this goes far beyond women. This is about life itself. Your career, your dreams, your destiny, all of it waits for you to make the first move. The universe does not hand greatness to those who wait politely. It reveals greatness to those who reach boldly. Brothers, I want you to picture yourself years from now. Will you look back and say, I wish I had? Or will you look back and say, I'm glad I did? Every step you take today shapes the man you will be tomorrow. Every act of courage builds the legacy you will leave behind. So here is my challenge to you. When you finish this video, do one courageous act. It does not have to be big. It can be a simple hello to a stranger. It can be starting the conversation you have avoided. It can be applying for the job you fear you won't get. Whatever it is, act. Because action is the seed of transformation. And when you do, remember, you are not alone. This is the Stoic Golden Tribe. This is a brotherhood, a gathering of men who refuse to bow to fear, who refuse to stay silent, who refuse to live small lives. Every like, every share, every comment strengthens this movement. Every voice added reminds us that we are not isolated men fighting silent battles. We are an army of brothers rising together. So before you leave, make sure you like this video, subscribe to the Stoic Golden Tribe, and share it with a man who needs this fire today. And drop your words below in the comments. Tell us what step of courage you will take, because your words may be the light that guides another man out of his darkness. This is not just about approaching women, this is about approaching life, about stepping into your destiny, about becoming unstoppable. So stand tall, brothers, step forward, speak boldly, live courageously. Until next time, this is the Stoic Golden Tribe, reminding you to stay disciplined, stay unbreakable, and above all, stay courageous.